Earlier this year, I started a YouTube channel and the growth has been nothing short of amazing. I was monetized in 84 days and had 10,000 subscribers in only 3 months. And I'm going to tell you exactly how I did it. Since the channel's been growing so fast, I've had the opportunity to speak to a couple of bigger YouTubers with millions of subscribers, and they've all said the same thing, that I think about YouTube in a completely different way to anything they've heard before, and have suggested I should probably make a channel about it and share my version of how to be a YouTuber with the rest of the world. I do agree with them that I completely attribute my success on YouTube to the way that I approach it. And the way that I do approach YouTube is completely different to what I see in other content creation advice videos. There's no fancy editing, there's no expensive gear, and I'll also give you my very unique and slightly controversial take on how to become a successful YouTuber much quicker and much easier. Anyway, hit that full screen button and let's dig in. Wait, this isn't a gardening channel. Let's crack in. By the way, this is my new and second channel, so assuming that this channel doesn't have 10,000 subscribers when you're watching this, I'm talking about my main channel, Culinary Garden. Although having said that, if you could please help me and hit subscribe on this video to help this channel grow and help spread this fun message, that would be super sick. Also, if you're a creative of any kind, I promise you will have some awesome takeaways from this video that you'll be able to apply to whatever craft you want. On the whole, where my approach is different to most creators or most advice, I was so much more focused on improving myself as a video creator than I was on creating good videos. Which might sound a little BSy, but this makes sense, trust me. I'm kind of stealing this idea a little bit from this thing called the Cult of Done, which I will link a cool explainer video. But the gist is you just place a much higher value on your own skill set and creating something with that is 80% good, but actually finished and you manage to put out into the world, than spending too much time trying to finish any one given project to perfection. The way that I do this is what I call the YouTube cycle. And this also applies to other creation. I promise no fancy editing. The YouTube cycle, or my version of upskilling yourself, takes the emphasis away from trying to get views or subscribers and really puts emphasis on trying to fail as quickly as possible. First step, we do. Do, or doing, is the act of creating a video and posting it. Just actually willing to have something get to completion. And the goal here is not to create a perfect video, but something that is like 80% good, that is like good enough that you can send out to the world. And this might sound bonkers to most people because our whole life we're always taught put our best foot forward. But when you're trying to upskill yourself or do something incredibly difficult, that's horrible advice. Now this will make sense once we get through the full thing. The next step is fail. The crux of why I think I've been so successful and why this framework works is because it forces you to improve your relationship with failure. The goal is not to be successful, the goal is to fail really efficiently. And we'll come back to the efficiently part. But what this also means is that it makes us so much more willing to put something that is good, not perfect, but good, as good as we can do on that day, out into the world, and then fail from it, and then learn. My handwriting's atrocious, but that says learn. Now what we have done is we have made a video, put it out into the world. It's probably bad, but that's okay, that's the goal. And now what we get to do is look at the audience's reaction and our analytics of that video and try and work out what didn't work. So that then what we can do is do. Again, focusing on improving whatever our most valuable room for improvement, MV, RFI, is. So for me, most of what my first learns were all that I really struggled speaking to a camera, and I'm still not incredible at it, but I'm a lot better than what I was. And my first probably dozen videos, just focusing on improving speaking to camera, trying to get those reps in, is like all I focused on. And it is so noticeable across my early videos, which are not on the main YouTube channel. I'll come back to that. And getting through that cycle does not make you an incredible content creator. What does, the name of the game, the reason that this works, your goal is to get through this cycle as many times as you possibly can. And what getting through this a lot of times helps you do is it helps your brain understand holistically how a video works, and it changes your priority from trying to make a good video to trying to make yourself a good video maker. And this framework was something that I was deliberately doing from the start, because this is basically stolen from the world of business and the world of lean startups. Because these people have really mastered the art of, when you have very, very limited time and money, how do you quickly work out what the correct thing to do for your business is? Now for my really controversial advice. Because you might see a problem with this. Because if you've ever tried to start a YouTube channel, or if you already are a small YouTuber, you might see a problem with this. And it's something that I definitely experienced myself. When I first launched my YouTube channel, the first video got 30 views in the first week. The next video did about the same. The third video, I think, did worse. Fourth video about the same. And then the fifth video is finally when I got a video that actually got 1,000 views in about its first month. And if that's happening, one of the steps of this breaks down. The learn part of this breaks down because you don't have an audience watching your videos where you can actually work out where are they clicking off the video. You're not getting comments of people telling you what they don't understand, what they don't resonate with. That is why my controversial advice is, if you want to be a successful YouTuber as quickly as possible, you should start on TikTok. Now this sounds crazy, but hear me out. The aim of the game is to get through this cycle as quickly as possible, as many times as possible. And every single time we're getting through this, we're improving our own skill set of becoming a better video maker. Now, TikTok has some really distinct advantages over YouTube when that is our goal. And I'm not saying don't do YouTube, you can probably do them at the same time. First advantage that TikTok has when you're trying to become a better video maker is the expectation of the audience on the quality of video and audio and that sort of thing is way lower on TikTok. What a lot of people love about TikTok is that really authentic, I'm just someone in a bedroom with a good idea vibe that a lot of them give, where it's just, you record straight to your phone. And you can edit your own TikToks in the TikTok app. It has like a green screen. You can add your captions automatically. There is no barrier to entry. There is no longer an excuse of not starting, because TikTok completely lowers that barrier to entry. Something else you've probably already worked out is that a TikTok does not take anywhere near as much time as a YouTube video takes to make. My YouTube videos, and I work really hard to try and create a version of videos that I want to make that can actually be made in a relatively short amount of time, but they still take between 14 and 18 hours each. But a TikTok, somewhere between 15 minutes and an hour to make a TikTok, depending on how high quality I'm trying to make it. Although I will say, when I first started, a TikTok took me about 3 hours to make. The next big advantage is that TikTok lets you actually focus on making an engaging video and limiting what you're learning to only that, as opposed to YouTube, where so much more of your success is actually dictated on how good your title and thumbnail and video idea are. The scope of problems that we have to solve and skills that we have to learn get really narrowed when we're moving to a platform like TikTok, where the algorithm will just serve your video to people. Speaking of which, the biggest reason that this works over just YouTube videos is on TikTok, you are guaranteed to get at least 200 views on each of your videos, as long as it's not against their terms and services and stuff. Because this is how TikTok works out what's a good video to show more people. My very first TikTok that I made got about 1,200 views in the first day. And it was not very good, but I still did an okay enough job of explaining what I was talking about at the time, to where some people watched enough of it for TikTok to show it to a couple more people. And this is the real advantage, is that then we get to actually dive into what the analytics look like and where we can see the drop off and where we need to improve. Like for me, what I learned really quickly is that I needed to make my introductions much more fun and exciting. And then once I got that nailed, I then had to learn, how do I keep the viewer engaged? I How do I deliver the information in a more fun and exciting way? Instead of just telling them, here's what you do, I show them a story of me attempting the thing and failing and then showing them the correct thing to do. But what it really meant for me is that in the space of about a month, I had completely learned how to pretty competently put together a video that's actually quite engaging and interesting. And then when I was taking that to YouTube, I quickly realized that what I had to start working on a lot more was my video ideas and title and thumbnail. And then it took me a couple YouTube videos to get that worked out. And then the channel took off really quickly. And the other thing that thinking of failure as a real positive thing lets me do is I experiment a lot with different types of videos, and I am really willing to put out a new video format that isn't just one of the types of videos that's worked in the past to see if it goes good. And most of the time, it doesn't go good, but that's okay because I'm really committed to this cycle of improving myself and improving my own understanding of what the audience actually likes. And what I did to start is I committed to posting a TikTok every single day for a month, and by the end of that first month, one of my TikToks had done over 250,000 views, which was so reassuring that I am on this right path to actually being able to put together a good piece of content. And now my TikTok's got 50,000 followers, which is more than double what my YouTube has. Now I really recommend focusing on doing this with TikTok instead of YouTube Shorts, because on TikTok you get those first 200 views in like a couple minutes, and you can start seeing how a video goes over a couple hours, and you could potentially go through this cycle multiple times a day. Whereas on YouTube, it'll sometimes take about a day before YouTube starts showing a short to anyone. But I do still recommend to post your TikToks to YouTube. It will help YouTube work out who your audience is and who it should be showing your content to. What I really recommend with YouTube post times is post as often as you can commit to properly getting through an 80% good done video, which for me, I try to do once a week, which started as a video would take up nearly my full week, every single moment that a full week would take. And now a video takes 14, I'd probably say 14 to 16 hours on each video, which is kind of like one weekend day and then a couple evenings, and then it's done. I have so much more to say on this subject, but not much time left in this video. So if you want to hear more about my unconventional approach to YouTube, please make sure to hit subscribe. Please give me a thumbs up for this video to let me know that this is the right kind of content that you like. And I'll also be doing some different kinds of content. If you love filmmaking or photography, definitely make sure to subscribe to this account. And if you're a creator, I definitely recommend subscribing because we're hopefully doing some like camera gear giveaways soon. This is a huge topic, but let me know any questions that you have down below. We'll try and get to as close to all of them as possible, or some good questions might just become a new video. Thank you so much. I will see you next time.